It's time to make it. Just give it a try. 'Cause you can make it like the old fat guy.
Thanks for stopping by to this episode of You Can Make It with David Farrell. Today the old fat guy is going to make some basic chicken wings. Nothing fancy, there's no injections, there's no deep frying. These are just chicken wings that you can do in an oven or in a smoker. They both work out fine. They're very simple, but yet they're still delicious. So let's get right into making our basic chicken wings. Now the first thing you'll need is a rub for the chicken wings. Now you can go to a store and buy any chicken rub you like. If you have your own recipe for chicken rub you like, go ahead, use that. I just mixed up a small amount of my favorite rub for chicken, which is made up of 5 milliliters or 1 teaspoon paprika, 4 milliliters or 3/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper, 4 milliliters or 3/4 of a teaspoon of garlic powder, 4 milliliters or 3/4 of a teaspoon of onion powder, 3 milliliters or a half teaspoon of dried rosemary, 3 milliliters or half a teaspoon of dried thyme, 2 milliliters or a third teaspoon of kosher salt, 1 milliliter of dried sage, which is a 1/4 of a teaspoon, and 1/2 milliliter or 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne. And I just mixed them together in a bowl to make my rub. So it's a simple rub. Now I'm just going to set the rub aside. And I have here chicken wings. These are chicken wing segments. You'll note there's no tips in them. It's just the 2 pieces of the chicken wings, the flat and the thigh portion. And I have 2.2 pounds or 1 kilogram of chicken wing segments. I'm just going to put them in a bowl. And I'm going to sprinkle 15 milliliters or 1 tablespoon of the rub we made up over the chicken wings. Try not to make a mess like I did there. And then you just want to, now that you got them over it, you just want to toss them around to get a good coating of the rub on all the wings. There we go. So now that we've got the rubs on the wings, most people like their chicken wings a little hot. So I'm going to make a sauce that we're going to put on the chicken before we cook them. And that sauce is quite simple. I'm just going to wash my hands before I come back. That sauce is quite simple. And what I have in this container is 10 milliliters or 2 teaspoons of cider vinegar and 25 milliliters of hot sauce. Now you can use any kind of hot sauce you like. You can use a hot pepper sauce, which is, the commercial stuff is very hot. You can use sriracha, which is hot but not quite as hot as that. Or you can use a chicken wing sauce that comes in a jar. It's even a little milder. How hot your wings will be determined by how hot the sauce you use in it. I've used sriracha in this. I find it a nice medium heat. So I've got the vinegar and the sriracha in there, and I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of butter. And you'll note this is a microwave safe container that has a lid on it. And what I'm going to be doing is putting this in the microwave and processing it for 30 seconds at a time at high until the butter's melted and the sauce is hot. So I'll be with you in just a minute. It took a minute for the butter to melt, so 2 30-second sessions. And now that it's melted and the sauce is kind of hot, you just want to pour it over the chicken segments. Get all that good stuff out of there. And once again, you want to toss the wings to coat. And now that the wings are well coated in the sauce, we want to put them on a rack. And the advantage of a rack is if you're cooking it in an oven, it lets the air underneath it and you don't have to turn the wings. You just put them in and cook it. So I have a rack here and I'm just going to put the chicken segments over the rack. So we're just putting the last of the wings on the rack. And if you want to, if you look inside and there's quite a bit left, you can just take a barbecue brush and brush it over. But I find it gets lots of sauce on it just with the tossing, and I wouldn't worry about it too much. So, as I said, these can be cooked in an oven or in a smoker. Now, if you're doing it in the oven, just put this rack over a baking tray, put it in a 425-degree oven for 40 to 45 minutes until they're nice and brown, and it's done. But today, it's hotter than a polar bear at the equator here, so I'm going to put the wings in my smoker at 425 degrees rather than heat the house up. Again, it'll take 40 to 45 minutes, and I'll see you when they're done. So I put my chicken wing segments out in my smoker for 40 minutes, and you can see they are a lovely golden brown with a nice crispy skin. Now, a word of warning on putting chicken and things like that in a smoker like the oven. Some smokers, charcoal smokers with a lot of charcoal in the bottom, and some of the less expensive pellet smokers that really fire a lot of indirect heat, will cook the chicken faster than your oven. So I'd start checking in about 30 minutes if you're using a smoker to do the chicken. This went 40 minutes just fine. My smoker has a very good heat control, so it's very similar to an oven. Now, after you bring the chicken wings in, you want to let them sit for about 10 minutes. That just lets the juices soak back into them and the skin to get a little crispier, and you not to burn the heck out of your fingers when you eat them. Speaking of which, I think it's time to eat one. So we're just going to grab a chicken wing segment. The skin is so crispy. These are not hot wings. They're not like buffalo wings, but they definitely got a little touch of heat from the sriracha. They got some great spices and seasonings from the rub. This is a really delicious chicken wing, and of course, you can make it.
I have a good woman, I ain't good looking, but I do some cooking. I'm the old fat guy. So use that oven if you want some lovin'. Be like the old fat guy. Be like the old fat guy.